What is up, everybody? It is Hobbs back here with you. Today we are celebrating 80's week from Echo Sarah, a good friend and homie. Midnight Hour member Echo Sarah was doing 80's week. It's a yearly event in which we talk about all 80's non-horror movies. Sometimes there's horror, I believe in some of them, but I believe this particular one, if not majority of them, were doing non-horror. Yes, I know this looks like a horror movie, but it's actually a political drama, or also just kind of an action film if you want to look at it like that. We're talking about the 1981 Brian De Palma film Blowout, starring John Travolta, Nancy Allen, and John Lithgow. It gets a 7.4 on IMDb. It's a runtime of 1 hour and 48 minutes, which you guys know me. That's kind of a long runtime for me. I really don't watch movies that are close to 2 hours, but man, this movie had me drawn in for the entire film. So we follow John Travolta's character, Jack, who happens to do sound effects for horror movies, which I thought was kind of dope, but he doesn't for bad horror movies. But bad horror movies are what's popular. And one night after work, he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and try to catch some late night sounds over by this bridge. And he's filming kind of the water and the owls and the water tripping into the bridge. And he's kind of just having some fun doing what he loves to do. He's obsessed with sound. He loves to record and loves to find things he can add into movies. And all of a sudden there's this car accident that happens, and the car goes off the bridge into the lake and to this body of water. And he gets in there and he's able to save this girl named Sally, played by Nancy Allen, and she's in the car with someone of importance. Let's just leave it at that. And they both end up consulting each other. They're both in the water. He gets her out of the car that's now engulfed in water and saves her life, takes her to a hospital. He's also being admitted for hypothermia, but he finally gets out. He gets treatment, and all of a sudden shit starts to get a little crazy. And the government gets involved, and the whole town is now starting to have a killer on the loose all of a sudden that's murdering women. He's strangling them. And, you know, there are members of the presidential parties getting involved, and all these different CIA government officials are trying to figure out what's happening. So they start going to Jack and saying, hey, you were there for the events. Tell us what you know. You know, you're not to speak of it or about the event or record anything from the event. You're only supposed to talk to us, tell us what happened during the wreck, and basically go from there. And he's kind of hesitant because he feels like he heard something called a blowout before the wreck happened, which means that someone shot out a tire or someone had a shot, like in terms of firing someone or killing somebody. So he has his own theories. He wants to save his life because now there's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of pressure on Nancy Allen too, because she survived the wreck. And they want to figure out her story. So there's people after both of them. Let's just put it that way. They're both in grave danger, and they got to figure out what's happening. Now, let me just tell you, this movie blew me away. I had never actually heard of this movie. Of course, if you know Brian De Palma films, you're familiar with Nancy Allen, Carrie. Now, she was married to Brian De Palma during this film as well. So, I don't know if there was a little bit of favoritism in the movie, but they both did really good. The acting was great in this movie. Some of the best performances of acting I've seen, and John Lithgow was, I won't tell you his role in the film, but he was definitely not John Lithgow-like in the movie, and I thought he was brilliant. Not that he's a bad actor at all, by any means. I just wasn't used to his type of character. Again, I'm not going to spoil you and tell you what type of character it was because I want you to watch the movie. But he played a role that I'm not used to seeing him in. Let's just put it that way. But overall, this movie was great. I'm glad I finally got to catch it. I had it on my DVR sitting there for like 3 weeks. I tried to watch it a couple times, but I was just so tired after work I couldn't get to it. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the movie Blowout. Everybody check out everybody that's doing 80's week. Join in if you want to for Echo Zero. Support Echo. Support the 80's films. Don't let them discourage you. They're very good. It's a very good time for movies, and I am trying to do stuff that I've never seen before. That's my goal for this. But check out everybody that's doing this. This is a really fun thing that we do every year, and looking forward to you guys on the next one. Catch up with you later. This is Hobbs Horror. Do me a favor in the comments. If you've seen this movie, tell me your thoughts on it. If you're a fan of Brian De Palma, tell me your favorite Brian De Palma film. Hell, if you're a fan of John Travolta, tell me your favorite John Travolta film in the comments. And catch up with y'all later. This is Hobbs Horror, signing off. Peace.